Okay, hello and welcome to this Beltane Abundance Masterclass. I'm so excited to be here. My cat Tenchi is here with us, which is exciting. Thank you for being here. Today is Beltane, which is why I wanted to have this masterclass, which is all about abundance and prosperity and wealth on Beltane, because in the Celtic Wheel of the Year, Beltane is the high holy day of abundance. It's when earth is budding with fertility, when seeds are being, have been planted and they're starting to bloom with life in the northern hemisphere. And just like all around earth, you can see this fertility, which definitely is the frequency of abundance. So just like knowing that this powerful portal of Beltane, which has been celebrated by so many people for so many years, that it's holding this powerful vortex to really anchor in those codes of wealth and prosperity and abundance. So welcome. My name is Megan. If you are new to this, welcome. I'm so excited that you're here. And if you're here with me on replay, please know that you can comment at any time, and I would love to and would be happy to answer any questions that you may have. So this is intended to be a class. So you are welcome to engage. I invite you to engage, and I invite you to ask your questions so that we can be in dialogue. My intention and my hope of this class is that this will support you to thrive. And to thrive in all of the ways, financially, monetarily, emotionally, energetically, physically, with your wellness, just like thriving in all of the ways. And that really is the frequency of what prosperity is all about. I really want to support you to leave this masterclass making the key connection that prosperity is not how much money you have in your bank account, but prosperity and wealth and abundance is an inner experience. It's an inner frequency. It's an inner vibration that you most naturally and innately and fundamentally are. And no one can ever take that from you. No one can ever give it to you. It's already the gift of who you intrinsically are, just by your nature of being a spark of divine light embodied. I really would love for you to leave with that solid connection understanding. So I'm going to take you through key 4 principles of wealth consciousness that are absolutely vital to living a prosperous life, in which you feel purposeful, in which you feel nourished and balanced, in which you are showing up in the world in a way where you are living in alignment with your soul's desire. So this isn't just about manifesting money. This isn't just about bringing in money to buy all of the things. This is about learning how to align and to embody wealth consciousness. So make sure you stay tuned to the very end of this masterclass, and I will be announcing a way that you can apply to receive a full scholarship to the program Into Gold Like a Goddess, which is a program designed to support you to feel wealthy within and without, plus to live a life that lights you up. So basically, everything that I'm going to talk about today, this program is going to support you to live that in your life and to embody these principles. So make sure you stay tuned to the very end so that you can find out how you can apply for the scholarship if this information is really resonating with you and it feels like it's something that you could really use and would really love to have in your life. Okay, and go ahead and share this with your friends. Let's share the love. Let's share the prosperity. So you have my full permission. Anytime I post anything publicly on Facebook, you're totally allowed to share it. So if you have friends and family who you think could really benefit from this content, I'd love for you to share it with them, whether you just direct them to the link or you share the link on your public Facebook page or you share it with them in a private message. But like, let's make sure that this information gets out there and that it's spreading, because there's so many people who don't have this information. And the more and more and more people that get access to this information, the more we will start to see people embodying the frequencies of wealth and prosperity. And when we see more and more people embodying the frequencies of wealth and prosperity, we see those people embodying heaven on earth. And when we see everyone embodying heaven on earth, then we're actually living in a frequency, a paradigm of heaven on earth. And so that's what motivates me. That's why I'm here. That's why I'm showing up, because I have a mission to really support this midwifing of birthing this new earth into a paradigm of peace, into a paradigm of equality, sustainability. So I'm here to support, women in particular, one woman at a time, to midwife this new earth by supporting my sisters to empower themselves by awakening and coming home to their most deep and authentic self and their most deep inner knowing. So that's what I do. If you're new to my work, that's how I show up in the world. I really love to work with women. I'm so passionate about it. So I am going to be answering these questions through sharing these principles. I'm going to be answering the question of, how did I have the worst month in my business, yet still have the best financial month ever in my life? And I'm going to be answering the question of, how am I still thriving and still feeling so supported even amidst COVID, even amidst pandemic? And basically, these principles that I'm going to be sharing with you about how to live a prosperous life and how to thrive, these are going to intrinsically answer how it is that I'm doing that. Okay, so even if you're not in business, it doesn't really matter. Basically, if you just want to live a life in which you're feeling more aligned, where you're feeling more alive and lit up, where you're feeling excited to wake up every day, where you're feeling as if you're not trapped, as if you're not stuck, but you're feeling like, wow, every single day, kind of, it doesn't really matter what life throws at me, but every single day I know I can handle this and I really love my life. It doesn't mean there's not challenges. It doesn't mean there's not initiations and struggles, but it's more of, I know that I can do this. I know that I can thrive no matter what. Looks like Leslie's here. Hello, beautiful. Thank you for being here. At any point in time, feel free to ask any questions. This is a class, so we can have a bit of a dialogue. So this is the first time that I've ever written out an outline for me. So because I have so much content that I want to share with you, that it's really rich. And I know that if I didn't write an outline, that I would just go off on all of these tangents. So I'm feeling like, whew, this is awesome. So you are in for a treat, like a really big treat. And I'm so excited for you to receive this. So thank you for being here. If you're here right now, that really means that you must have some type of deep, genuine desire to be on purpose, to be of service, and to live a life in which you're just feeling really good, right? And so that's amazing. So for those of you who are here now, and for those of you who will be here on replay, I'd love to hear, give me a yes if you would love to feel abundant and prosperous every single day. I know that that's me right there. I will raise my hand. It feels amazing. So I want to share a little bit about my story, just a little bit. So to kind of give you an understanding, a little bit of who I am, where I came from, and why I'm sharing these principles with you. So I came from a place and feeling like I was really not prosperous. And I had a really, really tricky and sticky relationship with money. And I had a really tricky and sticky relationship with myself. And I was in like search of freedom. So much so that after I graduated university, I completely changed all of my plans. I was supposed to study abroad in France. I had scholarships. I was supposed to do the Peace Corps. I was already accepted. I had my assignment. And I just like had this total early life shift in direction. And what I did instead was I moved into my car and I went on climbing trips and I took a yoga teacher training. And I did this for like, I don't know, 9 months. I did it for a while. And so much of it was about me aligning with a lifestyle in which I felt free, in which it didn't feel like I was just going to punch the clock at work to pay for money, to be in a home where I didn't want to be that often because I wanted to be outside playing and climbing and being in nature. So at a very young age, I recognized this like balance of a way of being in the world and this lifestyle in the world that just really, it felt like a box. It felt like it was trying to dictate my time. It kind of felt like I was being a slave to the clock and to work and to paying for a house to live. And I really wanted to feel free. And so I first did that by, going on this climbing trip, living in my car, having very few possessions, living very much in the moment, being there. And what happened was I spent all of my money. I had zero money. And then I had such a sticky relationship with money that instead of getting a job, right, I had a university degree. I could have gotten a well-paying job, but no, I decided to do a AmeriCorps position where I was like working 10-hour days, working my ass off in the sun. And it was an amazing experience, but it was hard. And I was making like, it was very close to a volunteer position. If you were to like do a monetary wage of all of the work we were doing, it would have come down to like, you're making like $5 an hour or something. And this was like coming from a person who had literally just gotten out of college, had literally just spent all of her money. And I go into this position where I was only making like $5 an hour and I was working really hard. And so I also had this dream. I had this dream of being a yoga teacher and traveling the world and sharing these healing teachings and supporting people and doing these like healing retreats and having some type of healing center. Yet I just didn't feel worthy of it. So I totally put it in my back pocket and I decided to go on with my life and to get in the world of youth work. And same thing, like I was feeling so purposeful. I loved serving. And the same thing was happening where I was working so hard, yet I was receiving pretty small financial return for all of the efforts that I was giving. There was this imbalance of the energy I was giving and what I was receiving to restore. So what this all kind of accumulated in was me totally burnt out. Usually at the end of every week or every couple weeks, having a total emotional breakdown because as a sensitive, empathic soul, I take on other people's pain. And then it often translates into some type of physical illness in my body when I'm not being aware of it. And so after learning more about my astrology, learning more about my human design, learning more about myself and my numerology, I started to recognize that line of work just wasn't sustainable for me. It just wasn't sustainable for my energy system. I needed to live a life where I actually spend so much of my time alone and away from people because I'm so sensitive to energy. So I started learning about what it was that my unique soul actually needed to thrive and actually needed to feel balanced and to feel appreciated and to feel like I was receiving for what I was giving. And I recognized that I wanted to step into being self-employed, that I wanted to really follow my passion, that I really wanted to step into having a spiritual business where I could feel so self-expressed, where I could call the shots on how I'm spending my time, where I can have a little bit more spaciousness to nourish myself and to take care of my own needs as I'm still showing up so purposefully and supporting other people. And as I stepped into that, I recognized after many failed attempts of not being supported by money that there were some things in the way. One, I was not valuing myself. I totally had so many stories of limitation and self-perceived ways of perceiving myself that were really harmful. And I had such an unhealthy relationship with money. And after doing wealth consciousness work and healing my relationship with money, I realized that I hated money, that I thought money was evil, and that I actually wasn't allowing it in. So in order to do what I wanted to do, which was to be of service through this business that I was birthing, then I really needed to A, heal my relationship with self, and B, heal my relationship with money. And so that's where I came from. And here I am now in this, this life where I am serving full-time in my business, and I have aligned it in a way where I feel like I have the time to be able to nourish my needs, to honor my energy levels, and to still have time to go out and spend time with friends and to go rock climbing. Because before this, I actually was at a point where I did not have any time to do anything extra because I was working a full-time job, and on the side, I was operating my business. So I got to this point where I was just totally crashing because I wasn't valuing myself and I wasn't able to go full-time, that I was working and working and working overtime, that I wasn't in this balance. And I learned that in order for me to really thrive, I needed to have more balance of giving and receiving. I couldn't just do, but I needed to have the spaciousness to actually open myself to receive. So this is where I've come from. And now I want to really get into the 4 key principles and walk you through them a bit. So I kind of went through them in my story, but I want to go into them a little bit deeper. So if at any point you're having any questions or you're having any aha moments or you see yourself in this story, please let me know. I would love to hear it. Okay, so the first principle of living a prosperous life is value yourself. Something that Reagan Hillier says. She's a self-made millionaire who is in the spiritual soul business world. She's doing amazing work. And something that she says is your frequency is your currency. I'm going to break a little bit down what that means, because this is something that it sounds really easy to get, but I promise you it's not that simple. I spent years trying to, years of frustration and not seeing things really work to actually figure this one out. So what this really is about is having energetic shifts about how you actually feel about yourself, and having mindset shifts of what you believe about yourself at a core fundamental level. So this is healing inner wounds that tell you that you're not good enough, that tell you that you're not worthy, that you're not deserving, that you're selfish. All of these core limiting beliefs that you downloaded in your brain between being in your mother's womb up until age 7, these things very much dictate the story of your life. So it's so much about going in and healing and reframing and rewiring your brain to start to plant new seeds, new programs that are in alignment, that are going to support you to thrive, to feel good about yourself, to feel worthy, to feel wealthy. And then as you have those belief shifts, it's about literally feeling in your body. It's not just about knowing it in your mind. and saying you believe it, but it's actually about having an energetic frequency shift in which you actually feel like when you think about yourself, you can like have warm, fuzzy feelings, like maybe the way that you would feel for an animal or a beloved, the way that you can like come into your heart and be like, wow, I love my cat, or I love that person, that you start to actually have that relationship with yourself. When you think about yourself, it's not like thinking about all of the lack and all of the things that you don't like about yourself or all the imperfections. But when you think about yourself, it's like, wow, I actually genuinely care about myself and genuinely want to nourish myself. And as you have these shifts in which you're healing these core beliefs and you're having energetic shifts about how you're feeling, then your pain becomes your gold. So what I mean by your pain becomes your gold is when you have limiting beliefs about yourself, or you have emotional trauma, or you have these unresolved traumas with yourself, it's painful, right? Pain isn't just physical, pain is emotional and mental as well. So when you are allowing yourself to heal your pain, your suffering per se, then that becomes your gold. And your gold is your currency, right? And your currency, because when you alchemize your pain into gold, that becomes your value, because what something that was painful, now you feel and you come into this place of being in a field of expansiveness where you shift that story, you shift that frequency into something that is more truthful, that is in alignment with love. And that becomes the gold. And the gold, it becomes you connecting more deeply to the truth of who you are at a soul level, at your most authentic, essential self, who you are at a soul level. When you heal those distortions and those limiting stories, then you come into a place of actually feeling the divinity in your heart. And that is your gold. When you shine the divinity of your heart, really, it is as simple as that. You allow yourself to shine and you allow yourself to be most authentically you. It will be so much easier to allow in experiences in which you feel abundant and prosperous, in which you feel like you are thriving. Because then you don't have to do all of the work or the heavy lifting to make things happen, to make the life that you want to live, your dream life, your heaven on earth. You don't have to do all of the work, but you actually magnetize it to you by coming into center and just by being you. And then also, if you're one of the sisters who I know so many in this community are, who really want to be sharing your soul gifts as your work and as your vocation into the world, that oftentimes those wounds that you have alchemized, that becomes what you're going to be so intrinsically gifted at offering others to help heal within themselves. So then the gold is also coming into the light of your heart, but then it's also what you've healed that helps you to make money, because when you show up in purpose and you've healed those wounds and you're just naturally gifted at supporting other people to it, they probably want to pay you to help them with that too. So that's all about like how your pain is your gold, your frequency is your currency. How you vibrate is it, how you feel about yourself, your self-esteem, your frequency. You see that directly mirrored in your financial situation. And it's not as easy to see if you're employed by someone else and you have a steady paycheck. You would be able to see it in other ways. But when you're self-employed, that's a very clear and easy thermometer of to see where you're vibrating and the money that you're allowing yourself to receive in your business, okay? So a really helpful principle in this one is valuing yourself is nourishing your divine light daily. So I was talking about how, you know, that light within your heart is your gold. It's really, really valuable to nourish your divine light daily. What do I mean by that? Is I mean having a consistent daily practice in which you are intentionally cultivating a relationship with the part of you that is divine. the part of you that is beyond your egoic self, the part of you that is beyond your day-to-day reality story, but in which you are doing some type of spiritual practice in which you get to engage with yourself on a deeper level. This is beyond self-care. It becomes self-care, and it is a self-care practice. But what I mean by nourish your divine light is practices that are actually helping to feed your light body, that are actually helping to feed your frequency, that are actually helping you to get into contact with the divinity within your heart. So being able to do that and keeping your gaze on divine, so the divinity within you and the divinity without you, that makes it so much easier to value yourself and to feel good about yourself, right? Because so many times it's like, I can't be worthy of this because I did this thing, or because this thing happened to me. I won't be worthy or deserving because I'm never going to be good enough. So we just cut through all of those stories like Kali or Shiva, and we turn within to the divinity of our heart, and we turn our gaze to divine in whatever way you want to see divine. I really have a strong relationship with Goddess. So whatever way you want to see divine, then, and you have that relationship and you're nourishing that every single day, it's so much easier to feel good about yourself. And I say this from coming from a place of having exceptionally low self-esteem and confidence to being here able to share this with you now. That this has been like the key thing for myself in learning how to value myself, has been really connecting to the divinity within my soul. Okay. Wonderful. So Dayla is here. Hello, beautiful. Saying hi, beautiful. Consistency is key. Yes. If I like, that's one of the things I really want to emphasize is consistency and daily practice. You're totally right. She says, I do meditation when grooming my horses. This is the only real alone time I have. Can the care and keeping of my sweet horse souls be considered divine practice? First, my encouragement is like, it's always amazing to tap into your own divinity, your own sovereignty, your own place. And if it's feeling like to you, you're getting this like really expansive, like, yes, this is honoring my divinity, I would encourage you to really trust that. And also coming from my perspective, I'd say if you are spending time, like horses are incredible beings. And I'm sure you know that if you are with them daily. So yeah, I would say having that practice of communion, because that's what it sounds like. And it's really important that you put that you're putting the intention of it in there. Like, I am nourishing the divinity within me and the divinity within this being, this horse, through this intentional practice of devotion, right? Because it's kind of like it's very much a practice of devotion to be grooming your horse, a practice of love. And so that can absolutely be a practice in which you are nourishing your divine light, because you're entering this place of your heart, you're entering this place of devotion, and you're being in communion with another being. And yeah, I'd say that's a really beautiful practice to have. And I would also encourage you like to have some alone time too. If you are able to have the spaciousness to, like, after you're done grooming, to literally just be in your space and to connect with your heart aside from the horse for a little bit too, I would encourage that, so that you can kind of feel the difference between being with the horse and being with the divine light within you. Janice is here saying it took half an hour, but I just finally got into the live video. Phew. Okay, I'm so happy you're here, Janice. And you can go ahead and rewatch the beginning, what you missed, because there's been a lot of really juicy content thus far. Dayla, if that didn't answer your question, please let me know, and I'm happy to come back to it. Okay, so we are on to the second principle of living a prosperous life, in which you feel purposeful and nourished and in balance, and in your joy. Okay, Dela says, I agree that they are amazing and divine beings. Yes, I am teased about my devotion to their care, but I do feel it is a bit of worship. My horses think so. I love that. I love that. I can resonate with that. That's so beautiful, because animals are just so pure. They're so pure. It's so easy to feel and experience the divinity in an animal. Sometimes way more easier to feel the divinity in an animal than it is in another human. So I think nourishing that relationship is a blessing. And I'm so happy that you have that gift of being able to be with the horses. Like, I love horses and I miss them all the time. Okay, so getting back, the second principle that I want to share with you of living a prosperous life is walking through your day-to-day life as if your desires are in the here and now. And this is all about embodiment. This is about feeling how you want to feel even before it's here. So you have a vision of what you want to be doing with your life, and it feels so nourishing to you. And you're like, I know this is where I want to be. And I know that this is what I'm meant to be doing. Yet you're just like, it's not happening. The key to making it happen is you have to live it in your body as if it's there right now. Like, seriously, as much to 24/7 as you possibly can. And this means coming into the frequency of your heart, coming into the frequency of your heart and experiencing that sense of gratitude. Gratitude is probably one of the easiest ways to get you into that frequency of embodying your desires. And then feeling the frequency of joy. Joy and gratitude are like the money elixir that you like make an elixir of joy and gratitude, and you drink that every day, and you drink it every hour, and you try to feel gratitude and joy as much as possible. You become so damn magnetic to what it is that you want, that it's like universe wants to support you. Universe wants to please you. Universe wants you to be living in your joy. But if universe doesn't know what you want, because you're not clear on what you want, or because you're not letting universe know what you want, then it's not going to happen. So preemptive to even, experiencing. So we're just assuming that you already have a clear vision of what it is that you want. And you have to use your voice. You have to use your vocal cords to speak it aloud, or write it aloud at the minimum, to say what it is that you want. And you have to claim it, right? Because if you're not claiming it and you're like, kind of like secretly like, oh, I really want this, but like, I feel kind of embarrassed. Like, that's going back to the principle one of valuing yourself, right? Because when you value yourself, then you're going to feel worthy of claiming your desires. But you have to value yourself first, because you can't be wishy-washy with the universe, because if you're wishy-washy about what you want, that's what you're going to get, and that's what you're going to keep attracting. So if there's this part of you that's like, I really want to step full-time into my business, and I really want to be offering this to my community, but like, oh my God, what if when I leave my full-time work that I'm not going to be supported, and what if people aren't going to pay me, and what if I'm going to fail, and what if I'm not going to succeed? And you have all of these things, and like, universe is going to be confused, because they're like, do you want to be full-time in your business, or do you want to be in your full-time work? What do you want? So it's like, you have to really get clear, and you have to really believe it, and then you have to embody it. So what this could look like, so I'm using the full-time business because that's where I am. And I know a lot of people here are healers and light workers and priestesses, and they really want to be offering their soul gifts. So I'm going to use this as an example. So you walk through your day-to-day life, and you're in your full-time job, and you have like this side hustle part-time thing where you want to be offering your soul gifts. So what you do is you walk through your day-to-day life embodying the frequency of, I already am prosperously supported full-time in my business. And you walk through you take a shower and you're like, oh yeah, thank you so much. It feels so amazing to wake up and to take the shower and to be full-time offering my healing gifts. I feel so amazing. This is so good. Thank you so much, Davy. Thank you so much, Goddess. Thank you so much, Divine. Thank you, angels, for supporting me. Thank you. I feel so prosperous. And then you laugh and you dance and you're like, oh my God, that's so beautiful. Oh my gosh, that flower is so gorgeous. And then you like maybe dance a little bit and laugh and sing to get in your joy. And then you continue moving through your day and you're driving to work perhaps. And you continue having that dialogue in your mind or aloud of how grateful you are that life is already there right now, and feeling the frequency of joy. That's so important. Feeling the frequency of, at least, if it's not joy, like contentment and peace and gratitude. And then allowing it to be easeful and flowing. This has been my hardest lesson because I like to do and manifest, and I can get pretty intense about that. So it's really key that you don't get in the energy of obsessing and over striving and overdoing, because if you do that, then you try to control, then all of a sudden there's like limitless possibilities that could come to you. But if you are trying to control everything and bring it to you in that exact way, then it might not happen because you actually get in your own way because you just don't trust, because the key ingredient is trust. And that's what we're going to move to next, is the next principle is being able to surrender it all to divine. This is probably the hardest step to do for most people. For me, it was really hard to learn how to get on board with this one, because in the West in particular, we're not trained. We're trained that surrender is weakness, but there's a type of empowered surrender where you have such a deep foundation of trust in divine, trust in the universe, because you know what you want, right? Like you hold your desire in your heart, but then you have to get non-attached to maybe it happens, maybe it doesn't. And then you have to offer it to the divine and just trust that if it's meant to be, if you are meant to have this, if it is destined to be, that it will come in the way that you expect or unexpected ways. And then you give it over and you surrender it to divine, because what's probably going to happen is you're probably actually going to get something even better or a totally different situation than you never ever would have or could have even dreamed in your most wildest imagination. Because when we are connected to our desires, we are in a paradigm frequency. This is coming from a tantric chakra psychology. Our desires are in Svadhisthana chakra, which is our second dimension. So we don't really manifest from the second dimension. We manifest from the fifth dimension. So you have your desires, but it doesn't necessarily mean that they're going to happen. So it's about just like knowing I have this desire, but then you have to come into the frequency of the fifth dimension, which is the frequency of gratitude, and just be okay with receiving that or something else or something even better. Does that make sense? Because when you come into your desires and you try to control it, then your ego can get in your way, and it can actually really sabotage you and kind of sandbag you to what you actually want. And usually when you come into the fifth dimension, because when you're in the second dimension, you're not able to see limitless possibility. But when you come into the fifth dimension, there's limitless possibility, but we can't really see that with our egoic personality, which is where our desires are. We have to come into a place of expansion. And when we're only connecting with our desires, then we need to come into a place of expansion to actually allow for limitless possibility to happen. I don't know if I'm saying this really clearly. I'm kind of getting a little bit jumbled up on my languaging. Okay, Janice has a question. Do you mean fifth dimension equals chakra? not necessarily. Chakras have different dimensional frequencies. So like the first chakra is first dimension, second chakra, second dimension, third chakra, third dimension, fourth chakra, and so on and so forth. Like our heart is actually the foundation of the fifth dimension, but they're just our dimensions. And the way that our soul is embodied, actually, it incarnates through these different dimensional realities through our chakra points. This is kind of like deeper teachings in Tantra. Is there a place to learn about these dimensions for future reference? Yeah, there is. My yoga teacher, Sannyasin Shivani Howe, is incredible at teaching these dimensional teachings from a tantric perspective. And she actually does offer an online chakra, I think it's called chakra psychology or chakra immersion. I'm not sure. But send me a private PM and I'll get you that link, Janice, if you want it. But yeah, she does teach that very beautifully. And I did an immersion out at the ashram with her where I was really learning these teachings on a deeper level. Okay, so if there's any more questions about the dimensions, I was starting to stutter on my words a little bit, so let me know if that's unclear. But the key is that you're surrendering it to divine. You're welcome, Janice. The key is that you're surrendering it all to divine. And that's why having a daily practice where you're nourishing your divine light is so important, right? Because if you are connected to your divine light, then you're connected to divine, because you are an image of divine. So that is absolutely fundamental, to be having this daily experience where you are having and anchoring in a relationship with divine. My biggest encouragement is for people to start with earth, especially for people who have a really hard time and maybe don't have a relationship with divine, to really start cultivating that relationship with earth, because divine is embodied in earth. So that could be gardening, planting, having plants, being connected to your food sources, and then allowing it to get deeper and deeper and deeper, where you start to see that earth is actually the provider of everything for you. Because earth isn't just a third dimensional place, even though that's what we associate earth as, but earth is beyond this dimension. Earth is part of divine. Earth is part of goddess. Earth is part of Devi. So when you're cultivating that daily relationship with divine, whether it's through prayer or whether it's through sadhana, which is what I do, and I'm going to talk to you about that more later. But whatever that practice is, it's so important that you have a daily practice of where you are anchoring into faith. Because if you have not planted the seed of faith in the soil of divinity, then when it comes to surrendering to divine, how are you supposed to surrender? You know what I mean? Like, if you don't have faith within you and a relationship with divine, then how can you surrender to it? It's just not going to happen. So that daily consistent practice of being able to anchor into faith and anchoring into divine, it's not just about anchoring into faith in another person or an animal or your employer. It's about anchoring into faith into something that's fifth dimensional, because when everything crumbles, as it is crumbling right now, right? The economic system, there's a lot of projection about there being an economic crash and all of these things. When systems crumble in the third dimension, it doesn't matter, because if you are anchored into the fifth dimension and you are anchored into God or goddess, divine, universe, creator, whatever your word, then you're fine. And I'm going to give you an example to really exhibit this. So one of the ways that I marketed this was, I'm going to talk about how I had the worst month in my business, but still the best financial month ever in my life. The reason why this happened is because I don't associate my clients, I don't associate an employer, I don't associate systems or structures with the source of my money or the source of my abundance. I associate goddess as the source of all of my money, as the source of my wealth, as the source of abundance. And so no matter what's happening, whether or not clients are showing up, whether or not you have a job, if you genuinely believe that God or creator is the source of your abundance, and that you are also the source of your abundance, that no one can take that away from you because you intrinsically are abundance itself. That is your birthright. If you believe that and you vibe out with that on a frequency level, and you also have a healthy relationship with money, right? Because that's the currency that we have of wealth in our third dimensional reality. So you have to layer on top of that, because it's like you can't just believe God's going to take care of you and do nothing and starve and not have money coming in, right? Like you also have to be living a viable life in this third dimensional reality. So then the other piece of that is I have a relationship with money in which I believe that I am supported by money. I love money. I want money. And because I'm this like energetic frequency match with money, that it doesn't matter how the money's coming in. I mean, as long as it's ethical, because that's really important to me, for it to come in an ethical way that feels ethical to me and in line with my morals and my values. But as long as I am trusting that myself and Davey are the source of my abundance and that I am a frequency match with money, it doesn't really matter whether it comes from my clients. It doesn't matter if it comes from an employer. It's going to come and it's going to show up. But the key is you have to believe it and you have to feel it on a frequency level, or it's not going to happen. You can't convince yourself of these things, right? We see it in examples where that month in my business was the quintessential example of like, money doesn't just come from your clients. Money doesn't just come from your employer. That if you genuinely believe that you're supported by money and you're supported by Goddess, you're supported by divine, you are and you will be, and it will come in these unexpected ways, out of nowhere, out of the blue, in ways that you never could have dreamed possible. Because when we are in this perceived box of limitation in the third dimension, we just aren't able to tap into limitless potential, which is why we must surrender ourselves to the divine plan, the divine orchestration that is already there, that is designed to help you live the most prosperous, joyful, abundant life that you couldn't even imagine. It's like beyond your wildest dreams. And the more that you surrender into this path of anchoring into divinity, the more that life just starts to feel easeful and in flow. And you can kind of put aside so much striving and it just starts to happen for you. Wonderful. So let's see. Yes. Perfect. So any questions up until this point? I see there's five people here with me. So if you have any questions, let me know. And I'd also love to know who's here watching with me. Go ahead and say where you're from. And I'd also love to hear, are you really excited about feeling prosperous right now? Just give me a yes if that's you. Let me know where you're at. Okay, so the last point that I really want to get into is you have to heal your relationship with money. I've spoken on this a little bit, but this is really key. So myself included, right? I shared that I came from this place of hating money and thinking it was evil and it was this terrible thing. And I didn't have any money. So many times my bank account was zero or I was in the negative. So this is key because we live in a third dimensional reality where money is the currency right now. You have to have a healthy relationship with money. It just is what it is. Unless you're going to totally live a different type of lifestyle where that doesn't need to be part of the equation, sure, that's fine. But if you are living in this like modern lifestyle, you just have to have whatever the source of currency is in the third dimension, whether it's money or whatever it is, like you just have to have a healthy relationship with it. Otherwise, it's just not going to come in for you. Okay. I'm going to be straight up. It's not going to come in for you. You have to heal your relationship with money. The way that my yoga teacher would say it is you have to come into right relationship with money. Okay. Janice says, sadly, it feels like more like desperate. Yes. Okay. My video just stopped playing. So can somebody let me know if you can still see me? I would love to hear, like, can you still see me and hear me? Because I can't see me anymore. Dela says, yes, you want to feel more prosperous. Witness both of you in that. And Dela says, fear of failure, fear of success. Yeah, not deserving of money. Those are my issues. I witness you because that has been me too. So I can really relate to that. And I know you're not alone. Okay, Janice says you're still alive and gorgeous. Okay, thank you. Oh, hey, Dad. My dad's here too. Awesome. Okay, so I'm happy I'm still here. I just can't see myself, and that's okay. Wonderful. So healing your relationship with money looks a lot about delving into your core beliefs about what you believe about money. And a lot of these things are from past lives. A lot of these things are ancestral. And a lot of these things are what you learned about money when you were a child. And then we pass that on to the next generations. And that's kind of why it's ancestral. So there's so many ways to change your relationship with money and so many ways to come into this experience where either you at least become neutral and where you start to feel like money is just an energy, and you get to this place where money is just neutral. And it's, you can get into this place where you love money, but at least come into a place of being neutral with money would be absolutely perfect. That would be amazing, because when you, and you can't fake this stuff, right? Because if you're faking it and if you're like, yeah, I believe I love money, but like your energy field doesn't love money and it's contracted to money, and your mind doesn't, and your beliefs aren't in alignment with that, then you're not going to bring in the money. That's just how it is. So how we know where we are is our life, what's going on in our life, what's going on in our bank account, what's going on in our relationships. All of that is a direct thermometer of what we're actually believing about ourselves, about our money, about divine. So if you're not really sure what you believe, just start looking at your life. Just start looking in your bank account. Just start looking. And it's not anything about like being ashamed of where you are, but it's just like, right? We need to know so that we can make change. And when we know, then we are empowered because we have the steps to move forward. Okay. Let me know if you have any. I know, especially as light workers and healers and priestesses and witches and yoga teachers, this one can be really hard. Like right when I first started teaching yoga, I only accepted donations, and oftentimes I just did it for free because there felt something really wrong with teaching yoga. That was something so deeply spiritual and beautiful to me, and to receive money felt so wrong, which just then implicitly shows that I felt like money was dirty. And so when you come into this frequency of feeling like, no, money is energy, and when I give something, I deserve to receive something, and that actually when you are in a flow of giving and receiving, that's actually a really harmonious place to be here in the third dimensional reality. Okay, so I want to also share a key that a lot of people forget, sometimes me too, that it's not money that makes you prosperous. The amount of money you have, the amount of assets you have, the amount of things you have, that's not what makes you prosperous. Prosperity, true prosperity, is something that you feel inside of you. True prosperity is an inner experience of the abundance of virtues and qualities and the wealth of your soul, the unique vibration of who it is that you are at the most essential level. That is your prosperity. That is prosperity. And when you can come into contact with that space, which is why I'm talking so much about, nourishing your divine light daily, valuing yourself, surrendering to divine, because when you actually can feel the prosperity of who you are and the prosperity of divinity, that's actually where the freedom and the liberation comes from, because you could be a billionaire and you could be depressed and you could hate your life, right? And then so if we define how much money you have as freedom and prosperity, if you don't feel good, is that actually prosperity? So what really defines prosperity is actually your inner experience of how wealthy you're feeling inside of you, how abundant you're feeling inside of you. And when you feel wealthy within, when you feel abundant within, and when you shift your beliefs about yourself and you start to come into being able to hold this experience of actually feeling in your body that you are prosperous, then the universe wants to meet you there. Universe wants to give you this outer situation that's going to match your vibration. So if you're vibrating with prosperity and wealth, then you're going to be a magnet to prosperity and wealth. And in all of the ways, it could be money, it could be friends, it could be meaningful relationships, it could be animals, like whatever helps you to feel prosperous or whatever you're calling in. Universe wants to give it to you, but it's like you have to vibrate at that frequency first. It always starts with energy and frequency first. Okay, so we're almost at an hour. And I'd like to walk you through an average day in my life, so you can really start to see how I'm embodying wealth consciousness in my life. And by all means, I'm not like the be all end all teacher of this, but this is something that I've been embodying for like the last 4 years. I really woke up to wealth consciousness probably when I was 21, when I was in my first yoga teacher training, and then really seriously and sincerely started doing all of the things that I've been sharing with you and embodying that in my life for, I'd say, like the last, I don't know, I'm 30 now, probably pretty sincerely for the last 5 years. And I've been really seeing massive shifts in my life situation. Daily, walking through a day in my life. So I wake up every day. And I'll give you, this is kind of like this is what I've been doing for the last month. And this is really what I've been doing probably for the last 8 months as well, pretty consistently. So I wake up, first thing I go is into my studio, into my temple space. And usually I grab some water, and I have like an hour to an hour and a half sadhana every single day. This sadhana was given to me by a teacher in the lineage that I am anchored into. Which is really important to me, because when I just make stuff up or when I just follow my inspiration, I don't necessarily want to show up every day and do it. It's way easier when I'm anchored into a lineage and a tradition and it's already there, and then it feels like I'm showing up for something much bigger than myself, and I'm showing up for divine, and it makes me want to do it every day. So I start out with chanting, with mantra, and then I move into my asana practice, and then I move into my pranayama practice, which is breathing. Asana is like yoga poses. And then I move into my focus. They're called dharana, so like more like meditation practices. And then I have a ritual where I speak into water about everything that I'm calling into my life, about how I want to feel. And then I drink that water, and I close with prayers that I have for my family, for humanity. And then I also close with closing mantras. And that's like my complete sadhana that I do every day. And then through my day, usually when I'm drinking water, I'm like saying prayers into it, or I'm saying things like, codes of abundance, activate now. Codes of prosperity, activate now. And then I drink the water, or I eat the food. And then as I'm eating and drinking and I'm consuming those things that I'm asking for blessings and code activations of, then I'm also like embodying that frequency inside of myself. When I'm taking a shower, I'm either chanting my guru mantra, which was given to me by my guru, or I'm chanting some type of mantra that's not my guru mantra. Or I'm singing really high vibrational songs. or I'm saying, yes, thank you, I accept, I receive, and I'm just repeating that over and over again. Or I'm like, oh, the water feels so good, thank you, water. Or, things that I do in my day, then, as I'm working, I'm pretty focused and I'm not doing those things, but I like to break up my work by having like little energy practices. So little energy practices would look like doing a goddess alchemy, where I could sit on my meditation mat and call in Green Tara or Mary Magdalene or Mother Mary, somebody that I want to work with, and we could do some type of healing ritual together, especially if I'm feeling low or sad or I'm feeling unsupported. I'll call in Mother Mary a lot and call on her to support me. And then I'll go through some type of creative visualization in which really Goddess is creating the visualization and I'm just the open vessel container for it. Or maybe I'll sing. Singing is probably one of the quickest ways for me to shift my frequency. Maybe I'll just dance a little bit. But these are all things that I kind of infuse throughout my workday. My favorite thing that I've been doing recently is going out and gardening and getting with earth, because as I'm weeding the garden, I'm really weeding my mind. I'm weeding all of those limiting beliefs. I'm grounding, and the soil is composting that for me, and Great Mother is taking that from me, so I don't have to deal with it, because it's too much for me to deal with, and she's big enough that she can deal with it, right? And she can turn it into a beautiful flower. She can compost it and turn it into something so beautiful. Then most days, almost every day, I try to, as many days as possible, at 4:30, I show up for a community chanting practice of mantra, in which we go through a set of the same mantras every single day for about 45 minutes. And then I probably work for a little bit more, and I'm continuing to call in as much gratitude and joy and ease and flow. If I start to notice I'm getting stressed out, then usually I just take breaths and I slow down so I can come into a place of ease. Anytime that I receive a compliment or I receive an email that, is nice, or I eat food or any of those things, I always say like, yes, thank you, I accept, I receive, to help me get into the flow of receptivity. Oftentimes I will visualize throughout my day, and I'll do some dream visualization where I'm vibing out with things that just make me feel really good and joyful. And before I go to bed, I chant my guru mantra. So this was the mantra that I've been given personally to help me fulfill my highest potential in this lifetime. And I've given a number of repetitions that I meant to practice it. So usually I'll chant some mantra and then I'll journal. I have like a moon journal where I track my cycle and I look at the lunar phase for the next day so that I can really align my energy level with the moon level and with my own inner womb cycle. And then I go to bed and I usually say some type of prayer, calling on my higher self and Archangel Michael or whoever I want to work with to infuse my dreams with abundance and prosperity and to protect me in my dreams. And things like that. So that's kind of like a day in my life. A pretty typical day in my life where I'm doing those things, and they help me to feel really good. So really the way that I'm nourishing my divine light daily is definitely through sadhana, definitely through the mantra. That's probably the most powerful way that I nourish my divine light daily. And you can see I chant mantra 3 prescribed times during the day. Unless I'm out hiking or something, or I'm doing something that's kind of out of my normal routine. But usually when I'm in my routine, I'm chanting mantra like 3 times a day, and I'm saying mantra in my head all day long as I'm walking. If I'm walking to a yoga class when I was teaching and we weren't in COVID, I would be chanting a mantra. Om Shri Mahalakshmiye Namaha, Om Shri Mahalakshmiye Namaha, Om Shri Mahalakshmiye Namaha. And every single step, I'd be chanting mantra. or as I'm showering, I'm singing mantra. So that's probably the thing that I do the most frequently, because mantra is just so powerful, and it works with you at a spiritual level. And that's why it's so effective and so powerful, because it not only liberates your mind, but it feeds your light body, which is your most deepest spiritual self. So mantra is just absolute medicine, and it is just absolute beauty. So that is what I most powerfully anchor into. So if you have any questions about mantra, let me know. And you can go to my public Facebook page, and I have so many posts about mantra and what it is. And I have some videos about it. So you're definitely supported if you want to learn more about that, because it is such a powerful tantric technology that can help you to liberate harmful thought patterns and beliefs about yourself that can shift. It can completely rewire your brain and your energy field to align with the archetypal frequency of the mantra that you are chanting, which is so beautiful. And as you're chanting mantra, it calls on the divinity, so the archetypal frequency. So if I'm chanting Om Tari Tu Tari Ture Soha, that's calling on Green Tara, the goddess Green Tara. So not only are you rewiring your energy body and your mind, but you're also calling on this powerful ally to help you embody this frequency. And so that's also nourishing your connection to divine and your divine light. Beautiful. Okay, so I'm going to walk you through a wealth activation. We're going a little bit over an hour. So I want to share, before I tune into the wealth activation, how you can apply for a full scholarship to Into Gold Like a Goddess, which is a 7-week program in which I will support you to embody all of the things that I've been talking about, because this is a lot of information, and I don't want you to feel like totally overwhelmed of, oh my gosh, how do I integrate all of this into my life so that I can be prosperous? I have a 7-week program in which I'm going to support you the whole way, and it's going to help you feel wealthy within and without, because you need to feel wealthy within first to start actually actualizing the reality and the dream life on the outside. And then even if you want to go deeper after that, there will be a 7-month program called Wealthy Goddess, in which you actually get to go through the birthing process of your heaven on earth, your dream reality. So there's options, but right now, Into Gold Like a Goddess is the best way that you can continue receiving mentorship and support and teachings and rituals and goddess alchemy activations, in which you are healing your relationship with self, you're healing your relationship with money, you're having energetic shifts so you can feel wealthy from the inside out, and that you can be so abundant and prosperous and feel that you are. And then you'll start to really see more of those resources and money coming into your life to support you in your purpose and your soul's work. So if you would like to, you can step in right now if you want. It's like a $32 a week investment. It's very affordable, very accessible. And I think you can even step in for as little as $88 right away. So, or if you would like to receive, you would try to like to receive a full scholarship for this program, then I am offering a free gift series called Nourish Your Divine Light Daily. And it starts on Monday. And so all you have to do is you sign up for that gift series, and then every single day you're going to get a prompt of what you need to do to apply for the scholarship. So you end up having to do like 5 things, 5 posts, not a whole lot of work. And you have to do the daily ritual, because it's all about supporting you to alchemize stress into trust, which is a key ingredient to living a prosperous life. So if you want to apply to that scholarship, sign up for the gift series, Nourish Your Divine Light Daily. I'll see if I'm going to type it in the comment window, and then do the gift series challenge, the 5-day challenge, and do all of the prompts, and you will be eligible to receive the scholarship. And then I will choose one lucky lady. I'm just putting that. And if you want to check out the program, Into Gold Like a Goddess, here's the link as well. I'm really excited about it, actually, so excited. Okay, so let's get into the wealth activation. I'm going to invite you to close your eyes and to just come to your breath, to get comfortable. I'm going to sit in stillness for a few minutes so that I can download the activation that wants to come through for this particular collection of souls that is here now and will be here on the replay. So as I'm aligning my energy body, as I'm aligning myself, go ahead and get yourself aligned by just closing your eyes and breathing. Okay, invite you to witness your breath. And to direct your attention and your breath down to your heart. Continue to breathe life into this space. And with each inhalation, see as you are inflating your heart. So that every time you inhale, your heart grows a little bit bigger. A little bit bigger. So that your heart continues to expand with every single inhale. And then think about someone or something that you love dearly that just lights your heart up with so much joy. This could be an animal, it could be a person, it could be an activity. But as you imagine and you think about this thing that you love so much, go ahead and bring them into your eye, bring them into your vision, and start to see them. And the more clearly that you see them or sense them, it's okay if you can't see them, just sense it and know that it's there. The more that you tap into that frequency, continue to feel the frequency of gratitude in your heart. And the more that you see them and the more that you feel grateful, allow your heart to continue to expand even bigger. And at this point, your frequency might feel different. You might actually feel a frequency shift where you went from where you were before to where you are now. And where you are now might be a place of gratitude and peace and contentment. And if it's not, that's okay. Just let it go. Allow yourself to be as you are, who you are right now. And then direct your internal gaze up to the stars, up to the cosmos. And in the cosmos, see this beautiful, beautiful golden light. And it's starting to create a bit of a vortex, a bit of a funnel. And all of this golden light of all of these golden stars are starting to funnel together. And they go faster and faster and faster. And it's spinning so fast that it now starts to fall from the stars, fall down through the ethers, down through the sky, down, down, down. See this golden light, see these stars. Now enter the crown of your head and feel this golden light continue to fall down through your brain, down through your throat, down through your chest, down through your spine. The central column of your body is now filled with the golden light of the stars. It starts to overflow, to spill out and over into your whole body, so that your whole torso, your legs, your arms, your face, all of your skin, all of your muscles, all of your tissues, all of your bones are vibrating, are filled with the frequency of this golden light. And then allow this golden light to expand outside of you so that it is starting to fill up your life. See yourself in your everyday life and see this golden light now filling up your day-to-day actions, your work, your leisure. Continue to feel the frequency of gratitude and peace, joy. And then see as that golden light extends into your community. It extends to your family, to your friends, to the world. This golden light is enveloping all of Earth now, so that the more prosperous you are, the more prosperous all of life is. And if you are ready to claim these codes of prosperity, I invite you to repeat after me and say, I claim that abundance is my birthright now. I claim that I am abundant now. I claim that I am prosperity. I claim that I am wealth. And then repeat after me and snap. Codes of abundance activate now. Codes of prosperity activate now. Codes of wealth activate now. Codes of success activate now. Codes of happiness activate now. Codes of purpose activate now. Codes of heaven activate now. Then allow yourself to feel the frequency of each of those codes activating in every single cell of your body. And allow that feeling to grow. It's like you're turning up the volume. Keep turning up the volume on this feeling of prosperity, on this feeling of abundance, of joy, of bliss, and keep turning up the volume so that it's getting bigger and bigger in your energy field. And you feel it expanding, and you feel yourself feeling even more joyful and abundant as you turn up the volume on this dial. And you keep turning up the dial, and you keep feeling it even more potently, even more powerfully, until it pops. And as it pops, you are now being showered with blessings and synchronicities and gifts, and see it as some type of light. See it as something that is being rained upon you and showered upon you as blessings and gifts. This could be gold coins, it could be money, it could be rain. Allow yourself to see what is showering upon you of blessings, of prosperity. And then maybe even smile or see yourself smiling and dancing and say, yes, thank you. I accept, I receive. Yes, thank you. I accept, I receive. Allow the vision to slowly fade. To come back into your body. To become aware of your frequency. And so it is. We invite you to open your eyes. And to open your eyes and to see through the eyes of abundance. To see through the eyes of prosperity. On this high holy day of Beltane. And I can't see if anyone's here with me anymore since my camera has turned off. But if you are here with me, I'd love for you to type in the comments how it is that you're doing, or if you're on replay too. And let me know how that was. And I'd love to hear also if you are feeling more abundant or more prosperous or more content. Go ahead and say that what it is you're feeling and if you had a frequency shift. I'd love to hear. So thank you so much for tuning into this masterclass. I know that it was rich with so much content. Really, it's a Polaroid snapshot into my daily life and into the practices and the lessons that I've been embodying and learning the hard way with much frustration and many tears shed. Really for the last decade that I've been consciously working with this material and then really delving into the wealth consciousness practices for like the last 4 years, 5 years. So it is my intention that this supports you to thrive, that it supports you to live a prosperous life from the inside out, that it supports you to feel more purposeful, more self-expressed, more nourished, more in balance. And I would love for you to join the free gift series, Nourish Your Divine Light Daily. I would love for you to join Into Gold Like a Goddess, the 7-week program to feel wealthy within and without, to live a life that lights you up. So if you have any questions about what these are or how to join them, I shared the links, but go ahead and direct them to me. And I'm so excited to see what sisters make their way into these series. And for the sisters who are already part of Nourish Your Divine Light, I'm so excited to start on Monday. Jana says, what an excellent meditation. Thank you so much. I feel like it's a possibility to shift into that feeling now. I feel so much better. Wonderful. So witnessing you in that. And I'm happy that you had the tangible experience of that frequency. And that's the most important thing. And it's so empowering to know that like you can be feeling shitty and you have the power to shift out of it, that you don't have to ruminate in it. And there are so many tools that you can use to shift out of it. And those are the tools that I'm going to be sharing with you in Into Gold Like a Goddess, so that you have actual meditations and you have actual rituals to incorporate into your life in conjunction with the teachings of how to embody the wealth consciousness. So Jana says, I see that I shall be patient and persistent in order to receive and adopt this mentality of abundance. Yes, 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 yes. Patience, perseverance, commitment. If you're doing these practices on and off, it's just, you're going to have some shifts. Like just doing this meditation and being here for this is going to invite in something into your life, right? And so just imagine if you're doing what you just experienced in that meditation and you're doing that consistently every single day, you're doing some type of spiritual practice, you're doing some type of energy practices, and you're doing mindset shifts every single day. And as much throughout the day as you possibly can, just imagine the mindset shifts and the energetic shifts and the way that your life is going to shift. And I promise you that it can take a long time, and it doesn't have to take a long time. Like I have seen this happen in my bank account in the matter of 2 months, going from -7,000 to plus 6,000. Okay, in the matter of 2 months. Like, that has happened to me before. So it doesn't have to be long. Miracles are possible. Like, your situation can shift drastically by like 13 grand, 100,000. Like, there's just so many possibilities. And the most important thing is to believe and to trust and to give it over to divine, to not to try to control it, but to allow what it is that actually is best for you. Because we can manifest from our wishing wells. We can wish for all of these things, but if it's not actually in service to us, then it's not the best thing. So the key is giving it over to divine and allowing divine to actually bring into your life what it is that your soul actually needs to feel prosperous, to feel nourished, to feel purposeful, to feel self-expressed. So I'm so happy that you were here. Thank you for being here with me. I'm wishing you so many blessings of abundance, of wealth, of prosperity. And I hope that you have such a beautiful, happy Beltane. Thank you for being here. And I would love to hear from you about your experience. So I look forward to connecting again soon. Much love.